Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Jenkins.
And I'm Dr. Henstock from 100+ Living Health Centers. We first want to thank you for making it to this page. You've come here because you're seeking out a path, a blueprint, some type of way to get relief, whether it's from neck pain, back pain, sciatica, shoulder problems, or even other conditions that nothing else seems to help.
The 100+ living strategies that we'll be covering today have been designed differently. With over 30 years of clinical experience, advanced certification in chiropractic biophysics, and after working with literally thousands of families, the blueprint that we're going to share with you today is evidence-based and time-tested. Over the course of my career, I've seen the principles and strategies and the action steps that we give you today help thousands of people start the process of getting relief, sometimes from problems they've suffered with for years. However, for many of our patients who applied these principles in a more significant way, not only were they helped to overcome what they experienced at the moment, it led many to recover and repair conditions and problems that were more than just the surface layer problem. They truly went through a health transformation. And that's what I'm hoping for you and your family. So let's jump in.
Let's start talking about symptoms, because this is where most people naturally begin. When something hurts, feels off, or just isn't working the way it should, we tend to assume that the symptom itself is the problem. That pain in your back, the headache, the fatigue, the poor sleep, it grabs your attention, and rightly so. It's uncomfortable, it's frustrating, and it's real. But here's the key insight we want you to understand. The symptom is not the problem. It's the signal of the problem. Symptoms are your body's way of waving a red flag saying, hey, something deeper isn't right. They're the result of the problem, not the cause of the problem. They're like the smoke in a burning house, not the fire. When talking about symptoms, we use the term collateral damage because that's often what symptoms are. They're the fallout of a deeper issue, something that's been building over time, often silently, long before you notice anything was wrong. We call this deeper issue a core problem. Now let's take that idea even further, a simple but powerful analogy. Imagine your home has a small crack in the foundation. At first, you might not notice anything wrong. Everything looks fine on the surface, but over time, maybe a year, maybe 5 years or more, the small cracks start to cause the structure of the house to shift, and eventually you begin to see the symptoms. Maybe a door sticks when you try to close it, a window won't slide easily. You notice small cracks forming in the drywall, and if left undressed, more serious issues show up. Pipes can burst, wiring gets damaged, floors become uneven. At that point, you patch up the drywall, you could sand the floors or lubricate the window tracks, and for a little while it seems like things are better, but the issues come back. Maybe in a different place, maybe worse than before. Why? Because the foundation, the core problem, was never corrected. This is exactly what many people go through with their health. They keep chasing symptoms, treating pain, fatigue, poor sleep, digestive issues with temporary fixes without realizing the deeper issue is still there, quietly progressing in the background. That's why we call symptoms collateral damage. They're the visible signs of something deeper breaking down. And here's the kicker. The body is incredibly smart. It adapts, it compensates, it adjusts to the stress, the injuries, the poor posture, the immobility, the mental emotional overload, until it just can't anymore. That's when the symptoms show up. But the problem? The core issue was already there long before you felt it. So if you're experiencing a symptom today, maybe the back pain, the sciatica, the tension headaches, the tight shoulders, or something that seems unrelated, it could be your body finally saying, I can't compensate anymore. The real opportunity lies in asking, what's the cause beneath all the symptoms? What's the foundational misalignment that's been building for all these years? What is the core problem that needs to be addressed so I can stop patching and start healing? And that's what we're here to help you discover. So let's talk about what those core problems might be, and more importantly, what we can do to correct them.
After helping thousands of patients reclaim their health, we have identified consistent core problems that are at the root of many people's problems. Now, there can be more, but the big ones fit in or are related to 4 main core problems. These are the things that often get overlooked, even though they're hiding in plain sight or even simply done incorrectly. Once we identify and correct these, the body has a much better chance to heal and function the way it was designed to.
So core problem number 1, lack of movement. Your body was made to move. Every joint, every segment, every system relies on motion to stay healthy. But today, most people sit too much, move too little, or focus only on general exercises without really considering how their body is moving. Now, maybe you're thinking, I go to the gym, or I don't really need a workout plan, or, most common, I move a lot physically for my job, so I don't need to exercise. Here's the reality. Intentional movement isn't optional. it's essential. This doesn't mean you need a fancy fitness plan or hours of cardio. What you need is a consistent, focused effort to restore movement throughout every joint of your body, especially your spine. That's why the first action step to correcting this problem is a simple one. Start with daily joint mobility. To make this even easier, we've included a bonus video below this one, a 100+ Living joint by joint mobility sequence. It's designed to help you gently restore movement, reduce stiffness, and support your spine from the ground up. We also recommend building strength, not just the general muscle tone, but specific strength that supports your posture and spinal stability. This can be done at home with targeted spinal rehabilitation movements. You don't need a gym membership, but you do need to be consistent. With the right guidance, even 20 to 30 minutes a day can make a massive difference. So whether it's lack of movement or lack of functional strength, this is one of the most important areas to address when you're looking to improve how your body feels and functions.
Core problem number 2 is poor nutrition and chronic inflammation. This one might seem unrelated at first, especially if you're dealing with something like neck pain or sciatica, but your diet has a direct effect on your body's ability to heal. Here's why. Everything you eat becomes the raw material that your body uses to rebuild tissue, reduce inflammation, and repair damage. When we're eating nutrient-poor, highly processed foods, we're not giving the body the resources it needs to recover. These foods create chronic inflammation, which acts like fuel on the fire when there's already damage in your system. So if your spine is out of alignment, or you already have joint degeneration or nerve stress, and then you pile on a diet that spikes inflammation, guess what happens? Your pain feels worse. Your healing slows down, your energy drops, everything becomes harder. Your diet also plays a massive role in your mental and emotional health. The solution? Well, start eating real, nutrient-dense food. Things your body recognizes and can use effectively. Whole foods, minimal ingredients, an apple, a carrot, or a steak. That's it. Not something that comes with a long list of additives. We go much deeper into this in 100+ Living Nutrition, but just know the more you shift towards foods rich in quality protein, healthy fats, and essential nutrients, the more your body is going to thank you.
Core problem number 3, stress and negative mindset. This one catches people off guard, but how you think and how you emotionally feel has a direct impact on how your body feels physically. There's a massive amounts of research showing that people dealing with chronic stress, emotional overwhelm, or negative thinking patterns experience more pain, slower recovery, and a higher risk of chronic disease. And no, it doesn't have to be clinical anxiety or depression, though these are more common than most people realize. It could just be the accumulation of daily stress that has never really been addressed. Financial pressure, relationship tension, work stress, lack of sleep. Over time, it all adds up. The good news is mindset is a muscle and it can be trained. That's why one of the simplest action steps we recommend is starting with gratitude. Every day, take a few moments to reflect on what's working. What are you thankful for? Even when, and especially when, life is hard. Send a kind message, do something generous. The small shifts build emotional resilience, and that resilience shows up in your body. We teach a full mindset protocol in the 100+ Living Attitude Blueprint, but even starting with basic practices like journaling, breathing exercises, or connecting with purpose can have a profound physiological effect.
Core problem number 4, spinal alignment and nerve system dysfunction. This last one is a big focus here at 100+ Living, and honestly, it's at the heart of what we do because it's often the hidden issue behind everything else, and the one that's the most overlooked, also the most critical, the spine and nerve system. Now, you might be wondering, what does my spine have to do with my health? And for a lot of people, unless there's direct pain, something sharp or obvious, they don't think much about their spine. But here's the truth, your spine is an organ system, just like your cardiovascular system or digestive system. It plays an essential role in your body's function and longevity. Or if you prefer a simpler analogy, think of your spine the way you think about your teeth. You don't wait until an extreme pain to take care of your teeth. You brush, floss, and get regular checkups because you know that decay can build up silently over time. Your spine's no different. It needs attention, maintenance, and correction when problems arise, even if you're not in pain. Here's what that looks like. Your spine is designed with 3 natural curves. When stacked properly, forming that ideal S shape, it acts like a strong, flexible spring. These curves are there by design. They absorb force when you move, support your body under gravity, and it protects everything housed inside, namely your nervous system. Between each vertebrae are discs, gel-like cushions that absorb shock and provide mobility. This entire structure is built to keep you upright, moving and functioning with strength, but inside that structure is something even more vital, your spinal cord. The spinal cord is what researchers call the lifeline of your body. It's the main communication highway between your brain and every organ, muscle, tissue that makes up your body. Information travels from your body to your brain and back again, constantly, and almost entirely beneath your awareness. In fact, 99.9% of what your nervous system does is completely unconscious. You're not thinking about your heartbeat, digestion, hormone levels, or tissue repair right now. But your brain and nervous system are all managing that behind the scenes. And this is where your alignment matters. Your spine and skull act like armor, protecting these delicate, life-giving nerves. But if your spine loses its normal curves or shifts out of alignment, especially gradually through poor posture, injuries, or prolonged stress, then instead of protecting your nerves, your spine interferes with them. That interference causes a disconnect between your brain and body. It's like static on the communication lines. And one of the signs of that disconnection might be pain, but often it's not. Usually that body part or organ just starts to weaken under the radar. Just like you can have a cavity that doesn't hurt until suddenly it does, you can have a postural or spinal issue long before you feel a single symptom. Over time, that misalignment starts to break the system down. Your body in its brilliance adapts, it compensates, it tries to stabilize the area by either laying down new bone or building up muscle spasms. That's when we begin to see things like arthritis, disc degeneration, spinal stenosis. And many people are told, you're just getting older. But aging is the issue. If aging caused degeneration, it'd happen evenly. That's why we see in people's x-rays, the fifth or sixth vertebrae in someone's neck is more degenerated than the other bones in their neck, even though they're all the same age. In some cases, the degeneration looks 20 or 30 years older. And why is that? It's because there's been a structural problem. There's a loss of curve, or that region was injured in a sports injury or car accident. When you lose these curves and lose your alignment, it changes how the forces of gravity act on your spine. And your body, doing the best it can, has started adapting at a cost. And the real solution isn't managing the symptoms that result from these changes. The solution is to identify and correct the structural problem early. And if it's already progressed, to restore as much function as possible and slow or stop further degeneration. This is where the difference in our approach really shines. At 100+ Living, we have taken additional training in chiropractic biophysics, or CBP for short. As a CBP certified chiropractor, our job isn't just to help you feel better temporarily. It's to analyze, measure, and correct these core spinal problems, and to monitor your progress with objective, measurable tests. Because when you correct the structure, restore the curves, and optimize the alignment, you're not just relieving pressure, you're restoring function to the nervous system. And when your nervous system functions better, everything in your body improves.
Now let's talk about how we actually begin the process of identifying and correcting these core problems, especially the ones related to your spine and nervous system. To start, it's important to understand the difference between a traditional chiropractor and a certified chiropractic biophysics chiropractor. Because while both aim to improve your health, the goals, methods, and outcomes are often very different. Think of it like this. A traditional chiropractor is similar to a dentist. They help maintain the health, reduce pain, and manage day-to-day issues as they arise. Their focus is often on providing short-term relief through regular adjustments, much like how a dentist keeps your teeth clean, helps you manage your cavities, and keeps things from getting worse. On the other hand, a CBP chiropractor is more like an orthodontist. We don't just manage what's happening, we focus on correcting the underlying structure. Just like an orthodontist uses precise tools and long-term plan to realign your teeth, we use advanced testing and a customized blueprint to realign your spine and restore proper function to your nervous system. As a CBP chiropractor, our process is built on 5 critical steps. We test, we measure, we analyze, we correct, and most importantly, we monitor your progress over time. Our goal isn't just to make you feel better in the moment, though that often happens. Our goal is to help your body work better for the long term, with results that are objective, measurable, and lasting. Now, to be clear, we deeply respect traditional chiropractors. Many traditional chiropractors in our community do incredible work, and there's absolutely a time and place for traditional adjustments. For many people, it's a great starting point. But if your goal is to identify and correct structural problems, especially the ones that's been building for years, CBP offers something different. It offers a systematic, research-backed way to restore the natural alignment of your spine, optimize your nervous system, and help your body function the way it was designed to. That's what makes the 100+ Living approach so powerful. We start this approach with testing, not assumptions. We use advanced in-house assessments to determine, is there a problem? Is that problem correctable? Are our interventions actually making a difference? And yes, we celebrate when people experience less pain or get relief from debilitating symptoms. That's always a win. But our deeper question is the core problem the one that's causing all the symptoms, actually changing? And if we don't test for that, how would we ever know? That's why the process always begins with a complimentary telehealth case review. It's a simple way to connect with one of our doctors, go through the history, and help us understand the physical, emotional, and lifestyle stresses that have built up in your body over time. If we feel like we're a good fit to help, you'll then be invited to a complete biostructural examination in the office. This exam includes 3 core components. Number 1, structural testing. Where is the core problem? Are there any postural shifts, spinal misalignments, or signs of degeneration? Number 2, neurological testing. How is your nervous system functioning? Are the brain and body communicating properly and efficiently? And number 3, physiological baselines. How is your body performing as a whole? We test things like lung function, grip strength, oxygen saturation, and how your body balances and distributes weight. If we find a core problem and we believe it's correctable, we'll design a customized care plan to address it. And here's where it gets exciting. Because we test and retest, we can actually track your improvements, not just in symptoms, but in function. It's common for patients who have completed a corrective phase of care to see measurable improvements in things like increased lung function, better oxygenation, stronger body output, more balanced weight distribution, and of course, less pain, better sleep, clearer thinking, and higher energy. And that's why this approach matters. Because we're not just helping you feel better, we're helping your body work better.
Once your initial testing is complete, our team takes the time to thoroughly review your results to determine if your case is a fit for correction and a case we can accept. If it is, your doctor will schedule a results consultation with you to review the findings and outline your personalized care plan. And we always recommend bringing a loved one with you to that visit because the information we review can be a lot to take in. It's helpful to have another set of ears, especially if that person will be supporting you in your healthcare decisions. It also gives them a chance to hear directly from your doctor, which makes conversations at home a lot easier and a lot more unified. At the end of the day, here's what really matters: that you get the answers you've been looking for, that you start to experience meaningful change, that you stop the cycle of chasing symptoms and start correcting the cause. So when you're ready, simply click the button on this page to schedule your complimentary case review. One of our doctors will meet with you one-on-one and walk you through those first steps. After reviewing your history or exam results, we determine that we're not the right place for you. We'll do our very best to point you in a direction that's a better fit, because above all else, we're here to serve. So from all of us at the 100+ Living Health Centers, just remember, when it comes to your health, you're worth it.